The VZO oscillator signal alerts oscillator is available for various platforms on the TradingFinder website. From this section, you can download the oscillator file for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 platforms and run it on your chart. Additionally, traders can read this page to learn about the functionality and operation of the oscillator. From the Navigator section, select the indicator file and drag it onto the chart to run the indicator. Once the indicator is running on the chart, an oscillator window will appear at the bottom of the chart. The VZO Oscillator Signal Alerts Volume Zone Oscillator Indicator is a special and practical tool for identifying overbought and oversold zones on the price chart. This indicator is an index of overbought and oversold conditions that uses volume to display these zones for us on the chart. When the oscillator line has positive values, it is displayed in green, indicating an upward trend, and when the oscillator line has negative values, it is shown in red, indicating a downward trend. Additionally, within the sophisticated oscillator section, there is a carefully calculated moving average that is precisely applied to the oscillator's output, which we can effectively utilize as a distinct and reliable signal line for further analysis. When the oscillator line enters the oversold zone and then crosses above the moving average line, we can use that as a buy signal and enter a long trade. And when the oscillator line definitively enters the overbought zone and subsequently crosses below the moving average line, we can then confidently enter a sell trade in the financial market. In the Settings section, under Inputs, there are several options available. The first input is the calculation period of the indicator. The higher we set this period, the smoother the line becomes and the less noise is included in the calculations. Conversely, the lower we set the value, the more the oscillator's fluctuations increase. In the second input, we have the calculation period for the signal line or moving average, which we can adjust in this section. In the third input, we can set the calculation method for the moving average or signal line. You can choose from the options provided here: simple, exponential, smoothed, and linear weighted. In the next two inputs, we can also set the overbought and oversold levels, which are set by default to +40 and -40. In the next section, we can adjust the style of the levels, which is set to dot by default. We can choose how the overbought and oversold zones are drawn based on solid, dash dot, dash dot, dash dot, dot, and so on. And in the following section, we can also change the color of these levels to any color we like. In the next section, we can configure the alert sending status, which is enabled by default. If this option is set to false, the other options become irrelevant. However, if this option is set to true, we can activate the alert for when the oscillator line enters the overbought or oversold zones in the next input. And when the oscillator line enters the overbought zone, a signal will be generated for us. Similarly, when the oscillator line enters the oversold zone, a trading signal will be displayed and triggered as an alert for us. In the next section, we can configure the alert status for when. We can precisely set it for when the oscillator line actually enters the designated overbought or oversold zone. If this particular option is carefully set to false, the indicator will patiently wait for the candle to fully close, and only then will the alert be accurately triggered for us. And if this particular option is carefully set to true, and the oscillator line, which is a crucial indicator, enters the designated overbought or oversold zone, then a significant alert will be promptly triggered for us with the current candle, even before the candle has completely closed its formation. This ensures timely notification for traders. In the next input, we can enable or disable the sending of alerts in the form of messages. In the next input, we can set the status of sending alerts as sound, enabling or disabling this option. In the following section, we can enable or disable sending alerts to the mailbox. If this option is set to true, you must have already completed the email settings in the Tools section under Options. And finally, in the last input, we can set the audio file for the alert notification in this section. Well, friends, we've reached the end of this indicator tutorial. We'd be happy if you share your comments and suggestions with us in the comments section.